Over the last decade, I, like many of you, have met people from all walks of life.
The media, you tend not to get that impression.
Are there conversations about...
I think there were not many people who understood just how broad his interests were.
Wonder though why the Queen picked Catherine and why Princess Anne is so supportive of that choice. To understand this fully, we need to look back at Catherine's early years, as it was during this time that the Queen may have seen something special that indicated Catherine was ready for more. Catherine Elizabeth Middleton was born on January 9, 1982, at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading. From the very start, her life was shaped by a beautiful mix of tradition and effort. She didn't grow up in castles or wear crowns as a child, but her family lived comfortably and was part of respectable social circles in Britain. Her father, Michael Middleton, worked as a flight dispatcher, and her mother, Carol, had once worked as a flight attendant, both employees of British Airways. Though Catherine wasn't raised in royalty, her family instilled in her the value of discipline and hard work, which set her on the path to greatness. On her father's side, Catherine's family had strong links to British society. Her great-grandparents, Nell and Olive Middleton, had even hosted members of the royal family at their home between the 1920s and 1940s, which gave her family a certain standing and familiarity with high society. On her mother's side, however, the family had working-class roots, with some relatives being coal miners. This mix gave Catherine something rare, a beautiful balance. She was grounded by humble beginnings but still had the social background to eventually ease into royal life. When Catherine was just 2 years old, her family moved to Amman, Jordan in May 1984. This was a significant change for a young girl, but it exposed her to new cultures and ways of life. While living there, she attended an English-speaking nursery school for a short time, and these early experiences helped her become adaptable and open-minded, skills that would shape her as she grew. By 1986, the Middletons moved back to Berkshire, and Catherine was enrolled at St Andrew's School near Pangbourne. Even as a small child, she showed signs of maturity, later boarding part-time and learning to manage things on her own. In 1987, Catherine's mother Carol started a small mail-order business called Party Pieces, which sold decorations and party supplies. Initially, it didn't seem like anything major, but over time the business grew successfully, providing the family with a good life and enabling Catherine and her siblings to attend excellent schools. More importantly, it taught Catherine that building something strong takes time and patience, and that success usually comes from hard work. In 1995, the Middletons moved once again, this time to the quiet village of Bucklebury. Surrounded by nature there, Catherine continued her education, attending Down House School before moving to Marlborough College in Wiltshire, where she truly began to shine. At Marlborough, a mixed boarding school, Catherine stood out not just as a student but also as a leader. She became captain of the girls' field hockey team, a role that showcased her ability to lead and work with others, qualities that would help her in her royal duties later on. She also earned the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award, which involved physical challenges, helping others, and learning new skills. Earning this award said a lot about the kind of person she was becoming, focused, determined, and humble through it all. Around that time, Catherine also underwent a minor surgery to remove a lump on the left side of her head, but she handled it quietly and returned to her normal routine without making a fuss. These early years, marked by hard work, humility, and resilience, may have been when the Queen saw the strength and grace in Catherine that would one day make her the right person to lead the royal family and resume her studies and normal life, once again showing strength far beyond her years. Even as a young girl, Catherine demonstrated that real strength doesn't always make noise. Sometimes, it just keeps going, quietly but surely. This may have been exactly what the Queen saw in her all along, not just a graceful woman, but someone who knew how to carry herself with purpose, stay steady under pressure, and lead from the heart. These qualities were exactly what the crown needed. After completing her schooling, Catherine faced an important decision about her future. She had been accepted into the University of Edinburgh, a significant opportunity, but instead of diving straight into university life, she chose to take a break from studying. However, this wasn't a break to simply relax. Catherine used that time to explore the world, grow as a person and take on new challenges. She began her journey in Italy, studying at the British Institute of Florence, where she focused on art and immersed herself in the beauty of European culture. But her adventures didn't stop there. She traveled to Chile to join the Raleigh International Program, which wasn't a vacation but rather hard work. She helped local communities, hiked in difficult and wild places, and learned how to work as part of a team in challenging environments. Before starting university, Catherine also took a job as a deckhand at the busy port of Southampton. It was tough, hands-on work that required real effort, not something elegant or glamorous, but she did it with grace. This showed that Catherine was not someone who felt above doing hard jobs. Instead, she approached them with quiet strength and never complained. Eventually, she began her university studies at the University of St Andrews in Scotland, initially selecting psychology but later discovering a true passion for art history, which she pursued wholeheartedly. During her time at St Andrews, Catherine joined the Lumsden Club, a society that organized charity events and worked on projects to serve local communities. Even as a student, she was already showing signs of the caring, thoughtful royal she would one day become, someone who knew how to balance work with kindness. To help pay her way through university, Catherine worked part-time as a waitress. It wasn't a job meant to impress anyone, but it reflected her down-to-earth, hard-working character. She never acted as though the world owed her anything, she simply did what needed to be done, quietly and with dignity. By 2005, Catherine completed her studies, earning a Master of Arts degree in art history with second-class honors. By then, those around her had already noticed how she carried herself, calm, graceful, and always thoughtful. Her confidence wasn't loud, it was gentle and real, something that naturally drew people in. It was also during her time at St Andrews that something life-changing happened. Among the historic buildings and ancient walls of the university, Catherine met Prince William. What started as a good friendship, their connection turned into something more than just friendship, grew quietly over time. Their relationship blossomed into love, their friendship flourished without any drama. Knew who they were. In 2002, the two decided to live together simple and chose to live their lives without making a spectacle of it. From everyone's perspective, it was certainly intriguing to note how people there kept using the word pivoted. Princess Anne recently opened up about a heartfelt message that the late Queen Elizabeth had once shared about Catherine, the Princess of Wales. From the look of things, this message didn't sit well with King Charles, as it left him completely speechless. It was a moment filled with emotion and surprise as the Queen's quiet thoughts finally came to light. You might be wondering what this important message was about. Could it have been about inheritance, or something else entirely? Join us as we expose the details of this revelation, which could change the monarchy's future. The royal family has always followed long-standing traditions and unspoken rules. These traditions extend beyond just family ties, as power and leadership are also passed down through them, with duty to the people always coming before personal feelings. However, something new has come to light, something that could change the way we view the monarchy's future. Princess Anne shared a personal conversation she had with her mother, Queen Elizabeth, just before her passing. This was not something said in public or recorded in any royal document, but a private moment between a daughter and her mother. And yet remembers it vividly. What stood out the most in that conversation was the Queen's quiet belief, not in King Charles, and not even in Prince William, the next in line, but in Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Queen Elizabeth had been quietly observing Catherine over the years. She didn't just see someone who married into royalty. She saw someone with rare qualities such as grace, strength, and calmness. Someone who didn't chase the spotlight, but was steady, dependable, and always showed up. In the Queen's eyes, Catherine might be the one person who could keep the royal family united when everything around them is changing. Princess Anne, who shared a strong bond with her mother, explained that the Queen had started to realize how quickly the world was shifting. The royal family was no longer beyond criticism. People began to question everything. Social media added intense pressure, and the once untouchable institution was now facing a future full of doubt. Queen Elizabeth knew it wasn't just about who would wear the crown next but who had the strength to carry its meaning with grace and wisdom. In her heart, she believed Catherine had that strength. Catherine has never been loud or attention-seeking. She doesn't speak out just to be heard, nor does she stir up drama. She isn't the type to be in the news for the wrong reasons, but she is always there, calm, composed, and kind. Even when times were tough or the media became too loud, Catherine remained focused, never allowing emotions to take over. She didn't argue or react publicly but instead continued with quiet strength, fulfilling her royal duties with elegance. Princess Anne shared that this wasn't a moment meant for the history books. It wasn't something that happened at a grand palace event with cameras or reporters present. It was just a simple, heartfelt conversation between two women who had seen the world change together, and that's what made it so powerful. It was honest and real. The Queen never shared those words to seek attention or prove a point. She had nothing to prove. Her only wish was to quietly pass along her thoughts to someone she trusted deeply, and that someone was her daughter, Princess Anne. The Queen didn't ask Anne to go public with this conversation. She simply wanted her to carry the message gently within the family, to protect it, and share it only when the moment felt right. To fulfill her mother's wish, Princess Anne didn't rush the information. She waited for the perfect time, holding on to her mother's words not out of fear, but because she wanted people to truly understand what the Queen meant. She didn't want the message to become gossip or be misused. She wanted it to be heard when hearts were ready to listen. Today, the royal family is facing big changes, and there are now confirmations that Catherine might be the right person to lead. Recently, people have been asking hard questions about who should lead, how the royals can stay connected to the public, and whether they still have a place in the modern world. At the center of all this change stands Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She's not someone who seeks attention. She's not loud or demanding. But now it seems that she might be holding something very precious, the future of the crown. When Princess Anne finally shared what the Queen had said, it took many by surprise, even King Charles. After hearing it, he was reportedly silent, not because he disagreed, but perhaps because he too felt the truth in it. Deep down, he had seen what the Queen had seen in Catherine all along. Prince William, who is next in line for the throne, also plays a significant part in this, as he is being prepared for leadership and carries a great responsibility in the royal family's future. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has always carried a lot of responsibility, but even Prince William has spoken warmly about her, praising how calm she is and how she connects with people in such a gentle and real way. Perhaps that's exactly what the Queen was trying to convey, because royalty is more about kindness than titles. Over the past few years, Catherine has faced both praise and criticism. Some have noticed how few official royal duties she carried out compared to others. While Princess Anne completed more than 400 royal events in 2023, Catherine only did a little over 100. Critics were quick to judge, questioning whether Catherine was doing enough. However, those close to her and the royal family knew the truth. Catherine's schedule wasn't lighter because she was avoiding her responsibilities. It was because she chose to spend more time with her children, felt it was the right time to share her and to focus on her home life. With the world changing so rapidly and the royal family facing a strong foundation for the future, the Queen's not only preparing herself but also quietly shaping the next generation of the royal family. True leadership, Princess Anne made it clear that the Queen never believed duty was just about being seen in public. Sometimes the ones who lead best are those who speak gently. Her idea of service was about doing small things without needing the spotlight, staying humble, and showing up without needing attention. The Queen was always known for choosing her words carefully. In Catherine, the Queen didn't speak often, but when she did, people truly listened. Even after her passing, her words continued to guide the royal family like a soft echo that refuses to fade. By 2004, everything changed in a big way. The world saw clear proof of their relationship when they were photographed on vacation together in Switzerland. That single photo told the world what many had guessed: they were more than just friends. But their journey together wasn't always smooth. Like many young couples, they faced personal struggles. In 2007, after years of constant public attention, Catherine and William decided to part ways. Catherine later shared how painful that time was for her, admitting that she wasn't happy at all when it happened. However, going through that heartbreak made her emotionally stronger. The split was heavily covered in the media, with reporters talking about it everywhere. But instead of letting it break her, Catherine used that moment to grow. She learned from it, becoming more confident, and not long after, she and William found their way back to each other. This time, their connection grew even deeper and more meaningful. Overcoming that rough patch solidified their love, and despite the constant media attention and speculation about their relationship, they chose to keep things mostly out of the spotlight. Catherine, however, was still targeted by the press, often mocked with the nickname, Waity Katie, implying that she was just waiting for William to propose. But Catherine never lost her cool. She handled it all with quiet strength and continued to show how graceful she truly was. Then, in November 2010, after years of speculation, the couple finally shared the happy news that they were engaged. As their relationship became more official, Catherine decided to go back to using her full name. Healthy and happy by addressing early childhood development, Catherine's passion for this cause was clear, as she believed that the early years of a child's life were vital for their long-term well-being. Through this initiative, she not only highlighted the importance of nurturing children from a young age but also made a real difference in improving the lives of vulnerable children. In addition to her work with early childhood development, Catherine continued to champion other causes close to her heart. She became an advocate for mental health, particularly through the Heads Together campaign, which she launched alongside Prince William and Prince Harry. This campaign aimed to end the stigma surrounding mental health and encouraged people to talk openly about their struggles. Her involvement in mental health advocacy had a profound impact, and she used her platform to raise awareness, share personal stories, and promote well-being. Through her royal duties, Catherine also supported various other charities, including those focused on addiction recovery, child development, and the arts. Her role was never just about showing up at events. She worked behind the scenes to raise funds, build awareness, and create lasting change. She gave speeches, attended events, and met with people from all walks of life, always with a smile and an empathetic ear. What stood out most was her ability to make others feel heard and valued, something that set her apart as a royal who didn't just fulfill her duties but also left a lasting impact. Over time, Catherine's reputation grew as a calm, kind, and genuine individual who made the most of her royal platform to do good. She brought a sense of modernity to the royal family, showing that one could be both approachable and dignified, caring yet regal. People admired her authenticity, and many of her charitable endeavors were a reflection of the values she held close: compassion, humility, and a genuine desire to help others. The Queen, who had always been a quiet leader, found in Catherine someone who embodied these same qualities, someone who would not only continue the legacy of duty and service but also add her own personal touch to it. Catherine became not just a member of the royal family but a role model for how to use one's position to do meaningful work, all while staying true to one's roots and maintaining a sense of balance in life. As Catherine's journey continued, she never lost sight of the importance of family. Her bond with William remained strong, and they became parents who were deeply involved in their children's lives. Despite the pressures of royal life, Catherine ensured that their family remained close-knit and filled with love. She and William worked together as a team, raising their children with the same values of respect, kindness, and humility that had shaped their own lives. In the end, Catherine's story is one of quiet strength, kindness, and dedication. She is a woman who embraced the responsibility of royal life with grace and compassion while never losing sight of the importance of family and personal values. Her work in charity, her role as a mother, and her commitment to the royal duties she took on have made her an unforgettable figure in the history of the British royal family. Princess Catherine's lifestyle truly reflects a deep sense of purpose, commitment, and compassion. From her early years, she demonstrated the qualities that made her stand out not only as a future royal but also as someone who genuinely cares for others. Her approach to charity, particularly her focus on early childhood development, mental health, and addiction, shows her ability to balance her royal duties with a strong sense of personal responsibility. Her work, driven by kindness and a desire to make a meaningful difference, really sets her apart as a modern royal. Catherine's approach to public service is incredibly down-to-earth and impactful. It's clear that she uses her position to elevate causes that are often overlooked, from supporting children in tough situations to being actively involved with healthcare initiatives and military families. Her quiet strength, humility, and dedication to others highlight the kind of leadership the Queen recognized in her. Her ability to balance her family life with her royal duties and charitable work makes her a powerful role model. She's not only the Princess of Wales but also a mother, wife, and a compassionate advocate for causes that matter deeply to her. This blend of personal values and public service is what makes Catherine an excellent fit for the role the Queen envisioned for her. So in answer to the question of whether she's perfect for the role, it's hard to argue against it. Her consistent actions show that she is not only fulfilling her duties but also bringing a level of grace, empathy, and thoughtfulness. That journey into the royal family shows that she was always from a more ordinary background.